All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the Everything College Football Podcast. Today, I'm going to be breaking down my 2022 preview and prediction for Illinois football. Looking at the coaching staff, Brett Bielema, second year here in Champaign, 14th overall as a head coach. Barry Lunny Jr., first year with the team. He's going to be offensive play caller. He comes over from UTSA. And Ryan Walters, it's also his second year with the team, 6 years at Missouri. Previously, before that, he's the defensive coordinator. 3 players were drafted in April. 5 wins is the most by a first-year head coach as well since Lou Tepper in 1992. So a pretty successful debut season for Bielema. Looking at the offense, Bielema has slightly shied away from his run-heavy offensive style. They're trying to incorporate something more modern. That's a great goal, but I think they're searching for a blend of, a modern offense with a dynamic running game that features a lot of power. Some of the nation's worst quarterback play for years has been here at Illinois. 125th in FBS in completion rate a season ago. That's not good. They did add Tommy DeVito from Syracuse, though. He's an athletic quarterback, quick runner, above average arm strength. He can really air it out, throws a high arcing ball, even in the middle of the field. It could be a good thing and a bad thing. So I think Tommy DeVito, a good raw prospect here. Got a good feel in the pocket. I think this is a good ad for Illinois. He was sacked a ton in 2019 and his only real year of starting with Syracuse, so he's certainly going to have to cut down on that, make quicker decisions with the ball. But he also has a much better offensive line as well. I think this is one of the top running back duos in college football. Chase Brown and Josh McCray. McCray 6'1", 240, a big physical back. Only 2 touchdowns last year. Had 549 yards, though, as the number 2. Chase Brown, he had exactly 100 yards per game. Not really shifty, quite stiff, but he bounces off arm tackles quite easily. These guys are certainly the backs that Bielema wants. I'm very excited for this duo. Along with Tommy DeVito, I think they can really mix things up on the ground. Illinois, they get back their top 2 pass catchers in Casey Washington and Isaiah Williams. Washington, 21 grabs, had a catch in 11 of 12 games last year, so he was certainly a consistent impact performer for them. Williams, he was a breakout at wide receiver, converted quarterback, 47 grabs, 525 yards. He had 192 rushing yards in a game in 2020 at quarterback, so he has plenty of quickness and speed. 5'10", 180. This is a guy I think is going to continue to get better, pretty new to the position. I also like Kamari Thompson, the only wide receiver over 200 pounds. Size is not ideal for them, but they got some nice, quick ball players that will certainly make plays, at least in the short area. Luke Ford replaces Daniel Barker. He transfers over to Michigan State here at tight end. Performed very well when given action. Excited for Luke Ford's development, a former 5-star that was at Georgia. So offensive line, Bielema's bread and butter. Really good unit last year. Did have consistency and depth issues. They do lose 3 starters. Everyone has the 6'5", 6'6", 300-pound, the 315 range. Julian Pearl, he's a veteran at left tackle. Alex Paulzawski, versatile. He can play anywhere. That's a guy they're really excited for. And Isaiah Adams, he was one of the top JUCO offensive linemen. He expects to slot in at guard. I think he's also very excited for this pairing. He had a handful of options, and he decides to go to Illinois. I'm interested to see what this unit does this year because I love the running back group. I think they got some talented players, like pass catcher. And Tommy DeVito, this is a guy who hasn't played much over the past couple of years, but nice raw player. Him and Barry Lunny Jr. are going to have some fun this season. Very excited. Very interested to see what they do from a schematic standpoint as well, because I think they got some better personnel this year. Bielema, he's going to love this running back core, but they also want to have some nice balance, so we'll see what happens. Very interested for this offense. Looking at the Fighting Illini defense, they were heavily improved a season ago, almost 100 yards less per game allowed. It was a very soft run defense in 2020, but they were much better this past season, only 3.8 yards per carry allowed. They did have their struggles, though, but I really liked the progress that was made on both sides of the ball in the trenches, especially here on defense. They get back 6 starters total. Jerzon Newton, 50 tackles. Keith Randolph, 42 tackles, 5.5 sacks. Lots of potential from these 2 defensive ends. These guys were quite productive last season as freshmen. It's nice to see some young players get in the lineup and do good things, especially with the 2 outside linebackers they lose, Owen Carney being one of them. That's going to be 2 big losses, but I really like this linebacking group. I think Tariq Barnes, 80 tackles, 2 forced fumbles. He had 5 pass breakups. He was a do-it-all player for them at inside linebacker. You get Calvin Hart back. He was hurt last season. Plenty of experience to go around. Speaking of outside linebacker, Seth Coleman, 6'5", 235. He's a player they really like. They're expecting big things out of him, a potential breakout star. DJ Johnson as well. I think all around this front seven has some pretty good potential. Owen Carney and Isaiah Gay were so good for them last year, so they're certainly coaching these guys up. I think they have some good talent. They'll step in. Hopefully they get the same thing out of Coleman and Johnson. I think the secondary, they were a quite impressive unit. Kirby Joseph was a big reason why, though. Now he is gone, so how they perform now that his playmaking is gone, that remains to be seen. Devon Witherspoon, 8 tackles for loss, 9 pass breakups last season. Versatile guy. Made a lot of good plays for this defense. I get Sidney Brown back. He was the top tackler from 2021. He's been used up in the box a good bit throughout his career. He's been a very consistent performer for a handful of seasons now. Jatavius Martin, he was very good in the nickel. Let's see how the loss of Joseph is, though. He had 5 of the team's 9 interceptions. This team didn't exactly force a lot of turnovers. And of course, despite getting better, they certainly had their issues with consistency. All around, I think I'm very excited for this team. They have some good potential, especially here on defense. There's some guys like Calvin Hart. Very interested to see how he plays now that he's healthy. If he can stay healthy, Randolph, Newton, I want to see how those guys can build off impressive freshman seasons. Prediction for this team is 5-7. I don't think it's a bad team. Some exciting young players on both sides. Mainly some of the front 7 players on defense. I like this running back duo and the addition of Tommy DeVito. Just a tough stretch from October 1st really through the end of the year. They nosedive right into conference play after a 4-0 start versus some sluggish run defenses. So I think they'll piece up Indiana and Virginia. That should be a high-scoring game, though, September 10th. After that, though, it's really a puzzle. You got Wisconsin, Iowa, Minnesota, Nebraska. How are they going to match up with these teams in the trenches? I think they could potentially snag some of those home games against Minnesota or Iowa, teams that really struggle on offense. But the only team I see them beating is Purdue. I think this team can certainly win 6 games, especially if they're going to start off 4-0. All you have to do is snag 2 more. Looking at the schedule, it's really tough, especially going on the road against teams like Michigan and, of course, the Cornhuskers. And, again, even October 1st against Wisconsin. So I could potentially steal an upset somewhere here to get to 6-6. That's certainly feasible. But overall, I think they're going to be at a talent disadvantage. And even though the defense, I think, will continue to get better, how much better will they get? Will it be to the tune of beating teams like Michigan, Wisconsin, the heavyweights of the conference, or the division, rather? I don't think so. But I think this is going to be an interesting team to watch this year, especially on, September 2nd on a Friday night or a Thursday night. If you're not doing nothing, this will be a fun team to watch. So make sure you tune into those games. That's going to be it for today's episode, guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment. See you next time.